Hi everybody, welcome to this day in history. We are live here on January 31st. So we are talking about what's going on this day in history. We start out in 314. That's where Pope Sylvester I succeeds Pope. And the first time I get screwed up on a word, it happened a lot. Militus, I'm going to go with that. But it was 314. They had some really interesting names back in the day. Pope Sylvester I becomes Pope 314. In 1504, the Treaty of Lyon ends the Italian War, confirming French domination of northern Italy, while Spain receives the Kingdom of Naples. In 1606, the Gunpowder Plot. Guy Fawkes is executed for plotting against Parliament and King James. In 1747, the first venereal diseases clinic is opened in London Lock Hospital. In 1801, John Marshall is appointed the Chief Justice of the United States. In 1846, after the War of the Milwaukee Bridge, Juneautown and Kilbournetown unify as the city of Milwaukee. In 1848, John C. Fremont is court-martialed for mutiny and disobeying orders. In 1865, part of the Civil War here, Congress passes the 13th Amendment to the United States, abolishing slavery, and submits it to the states for ratification. Also in 1865, Confederate General Robert E. Lee becomes General-in-Chief. In 1891, the history of Portugal, the first attempt of the Republican Revolution, breaks out in Porto. In 1915, World War I, Germany is the first to make large-scale use of poison gas in warfare against Russia. In 1917, Germany announces that its U-boats will resume unrestricted submarine warfare after a 2-year hiatus, and a series of collisions in a misty Scottish night leads to the loss of 2 Royal Navy submarines with more than 100 lives and a damage to another 5 warships in England. In 1919, the Battle of George Square takes place in Glasgow, Scotland. 1930, 3M begins marketing Scotch tape. In 1942, World War II, Allied forces are defeated by the Japanese in the Battle of Mala and retreat to Singapore. In 1943, German Field Marshal Heydrich Paulus surrenders to the Soviets in Stalingrad, followed 2 days later by the remainder of his 6th Army, ending one of the war's fiercest battles. In 1945, Private Eddie Slovik is executed for desertion, the first such execution of an American soldier since the Civil War. In 1945, about 300 inmates in the Slotvov concentration camp are forcefully marched to the Baltic Sea and executed. 1945, World War II, the end of the fighting of the Battle of Hill 170 during the Burma Campaign, in which the British 3 Commando Brigade repulsed a Japanese counterattack on their positions and gave a retirement. And there you go. 1946, Yugoslavia's new constitution, modeling that after the Soviet Union, establishes 6 republics, which is Bosnia-Herzegovina, Croatia, Macedonia, Montenegro, Serbia, and Slovenia. Now they are all separate countries. In 1946, the Democratic Republic of Vietnam introduces the dong to replace the French Indo-Japanese plaster of par. And I'm sure that the dong is probably money. It's a currency. So that's a funny name for a currency. These Are My Children. The first soap opera is broadcast by an NBC station in Chicago. 1949. 1950, Harry S. Truman announces the program to develop the hydrogen bomb. In 1953, a North Sea flood causes the death of over 1,800 people in the Netherlands and over 300 in the United Kingdom. 1958, the first successful American satellite detects the Van Allen radiation belt. In 1961, Mercury Redstone 2, Ham the Chimp, travels to outer space. In 1966, the Soviet Union launches an unmanned Luna 9 spacecraft as part of the Luna program. In 1968, Nauru gains independence from Australia. 1971, the Apollo mission, Alan Shepard, Edgar Marshall, and Stuart Rosa aboard the Saturn V lift off for a mission to Maro Highlands on the moon. In 1971, the Winter Soldier investigation, organized by the Vietnam veterans against the war to publicize war crimes and atrocities by Americans and allies in Vietnam, begins in Detroit. In 1996, an explosive-filled truck rams into the gates of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka, killing at least 86 people and injuring 1,400. In 2000, Alaska Airlines Flight 261 crash. An MD-83 experiencing horizontal stabilizer problems crashes into the Pacific Ocean off the coast of Point Mulgrew, California. 2001, in the Netherlands, a Scottish court convicts a Libyan and acquits another Libyan as part of the bombing of Pan Am 103 over Lockerbie, Scotland in 1998. In 2012, the Toyota Corolla is known as the best-selling car of all time, selling 37.5 million units. And in 2018, which is today, folks, the blue moon and solar lunar eclipse and the blood moon and all that other great stuff. So that happened all this day in history. Let's go to some births here, as we got people who we can celebrate their birthday, including Peter Bockley, who was born this day in 1583. He was an American Puritan. So if you ever read in your history books, you'll find that name. Zane Grey was born this day, 1872. John O'Hara, born this day, 1905. Now we'll find the oldest person still with us as well. Jackie Robinson was born this day in 1919. And the oldest person still with us today, celebrating a birthday, is Carol Channing. So happy birthday to Carol Channing. Everyone remembers that name. That name gets brought up quite a bit. Amazing actress and singer-dancer at her time. So as we move forward, folks, it is Chuck Willis's birthday, singer-songwriter. Ernie Banks, happy birthday to Ernie Banks. Bob Turner. Suzanne Plachette, who played in Newhart, and probably one of the best finishes to a TV show. When the Newhart show and Newhart finished, pretty awesome. Dick Gephardt, happy birthday to Dick Gephardt today. James Watt. Nolan Ryan, famous baseball player. Happy birthday to Nolan Ryan. As we go further down the list, we look and see that it is Kelly Lynch's birthday today. And it is Lloyd Cole's birthday today, singer-songwriter. Patrick Stevens' birthday today, Minnie Driver. It is Fred Coleman's birthday today. Buddy Rice. Kerry Washington from a lot of shows like Scandal, and I think she was also in Django Unchained. So happy birthday to Kerry. Happy birthday to Justin Timberlake today, and good luck on your performance this weekend at the Super Bowl. And as we go further down the list, folks, we see that is also Mario Williams' birthday today, and Josh Johnson. So happy birthday to all of those wonderful people. Deaths that happened today, of course, Guy Fawkes died this day in history. Leader of the Gunpowder Plot. Now, as we go down that list, we're going to see if there's anyone else who died this day in history that's a famous deal. Giant Baba died this day in history. He was co-founded All Japan Pro Wrestling, and over there it's probably a remembrance holiday over there or something. And the 11th Dalai Lama died this day in history as well. So, folks, to give you guys a heads up, it is Independence Day in Nauru. It is Street Children's Day in Austria. And lots of really great days happen this day in history. You'll hear it all here on thescottshow.com. Check us out. And, hey, like, share, subscribe on YouTube, guys. We're going to be pushing that big time. So we'll see you guys here real soon on thescottshow.com.